everybody, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm Purple Alphanemic here, and today we are playing some more, I messed up that today part, we are playing some more Bloons Adventure on Tower Defense because, once again, there's another legendary Wish Orb event. We have Joshua and Margaret here back with their investigations like they do every summer. Thanks Joshua, thanks Margaret, you're helpful. I think we've actually already done one of these. I say summer because I do think of them as the summer activities, but really the summer event's the 4th of July one, which, I mean, really makes you realize that this is only 20 days after that event ended. I think these are actually the closest together events out of all of them, so that's cool. If you missed it on that event, or if you just didn't get what you wanted, you have another chance with this another legendary Wish Orb. So today, as per usual, especially now that I realize how easy of a map this is, we're going to be doing Impoppable. I'm going to be sharing, wait, first, I didn't mean to do that. Give me a second. I must leave. I don't think it resets the cooldown. I hope it doesn't. I do think I have enough gems to buy it, but, yeah. We're good? Okay, cool. What I wanted to do before I did that by mistake is talk about things. So, I'm in the end game, obviously. I have pretty much everything. My compendium is complete except for Motion Games equipment. I have every single legendary ally, weapon, the premium characters. Every single character is at least level 5, most are at least level 7. I have one that's almost level 9. I'm pretty much done the game. So for endgame characters, which I personally would classify as, realistically, if you have a couple, once you have like 5 epic Wish Orbs and you have all the characters, possibly not including the premium, that's probably what I would classify as endgame in my opinion. But obviously a big factor towards that is Thought Cannon 1. Once you get that, you're officially in at least late game, if not end game. Because that's, like, Thought Cannon 1 really does describe the late/end game. So, yes, basically, in my state of the game, Thought Cannon 1, Flame Princess, I don't actually want it to do much damage, because I don't believe I have a third treasure chest keys yet. That's honestly the main thing I want, so I might actually do some more super rare Wish Orbs. So I'm going to be using Flame Princess with Thought Cannon 1 to get a bit more Wish Orbs. I'm also going to be using, actually, I want to remove this. I am going to be using Tuxedo Jake as money because I feel like it. I want to take a look at them. And similarly, since we are still using the premium characters, I'm going to be going with Hunter Marceline and Dungeon Finn for this. But basically, for each treasure chest keys you have, that's one more character you can make actually do damage. So realistically, you want your main DPS to be characters with treasure chest keys, which is why I don't want Flame Princess to be doing too much damage. So I'm using, obviously, treasure chest keys. They give a small chance that when you pop a balloon with this tower that's very specific, unlike Thought Cannon 1, you can get a chance at a random treasure chest. Usually it's just like a common Wish Orb or something that's not that great, but it can give you coins, which I still desperately need, and gems. And when it gives you gems, it gives you like 20 each, so you can actually get a lot of gems from it, which is super useful, especially if you actually don't have Thought Cannon 1 yet. Treasure chest keys are one of the best ways to get it, and gem shops, when you're looking for a couple items, or if you're trying to finish up a collection or something like that, or even a duplicate, treasure chest keys, super helpful just to get that gem grind. So no matter what, you'll always stay above 300. Obviously, I'm not currently, but that's because I don't need anything. So you stay above however many gems you want. 300 is enough for an epic. And if it comes in the shop, you wait, check every day. As soon as the item you want, usually Thought Cannon 1 or Tectair or something like that, maybe Cobra, is in the shop, you buy it. Pretty simple. They're really good, so I'm going to be using them with Hunter Marceline and Dungeon Finn. So for this event, I'm going to be doing Impoppable because this event with the, with the magnifying glasses, Impoppable is the most important difficulty in this one because each difficulty gives one more magnifying glass. Normal gives 1, hard gives 2, extreme 3, and Impoppable 4. I'm going to be doing Impoppable because it takes the least amount of time, like as in between, so that's what I'm going to be doing for today. But I will be talking about other tips and if you're playing on different difficulties. But let's just get into the game, because it does take a little while. But yeah, so basically, I've done this every single time there's an event. I talk about it like, hey, wake up call. If you didn't know, there's an event going. I used to be the one that actually found them. Now you guys find them first and tell me. I'm not that late. I'm only a day late. But, you know, it doesn't matter. You guys are still here way before me. So we're going to be starting with Hunter Marceline. But yeah, so you guys are always here before me, pretty much regardless, so that's cool, I guess. But yeah, so I talk about the events, I give some tips, strategy, advice, depending on what stage of the game you're at, and well, I generally just try to help you out. It's mostly just a reminder, because, you know, there is usually a decent gap between events. This one hasn't been as long, I think it's been like a little over a month, but still not, like, it's still a decent amount of time. So yeah, I'll be going through a bunch of tips for each stage of the game. Basically, I'm going to be dividing into difficulty if you're playing normal, hard, extreme, impossible, etc. I'll be talking a bit about which of those and that later on, but this is just my little introduction, I guess. So yeah, we're going to get into this. So first off, if you're in the early game, this event often, including for me, actually started when I only had, like, the starter characters, like the first 3, like Finn, Jake, Max, and PB, and maybe Ice King, just like the basic characters. I know that's not 3, I changed my mind halfway through that sentence. But once you start off, you have a couple characters, go ahead, start! No matter what, as you saw, the first reward's only 1 magnifying glass. It's a big deal. We'll see it at the end of the stage. We'll see the first magnifying glass reward. You play 1 normal mode. Your first game, super easy. This is one of the easiest maps. Sometimes it's a hard map. You might get unlucky. It might be like Cursed Mirrors or something, and then it's too bad. You wait, you try, and if you can't beat it, then you wait until later. But it is still super helpful no matter what difficulty of the game you're at, what stage of the game you're at. That's the one thing I cannot stress enough. No, it does not matter your difficulty. It does not matter how good you are at the game, how many trinkets you have. Do the event. Do the event. You fail everything that you do not try, something along that. That's the saying, and it's true. Do not give up. Try the event. It's really helpful, and it will help you in the long run. So, yeah, make sure you do it. That's not what I meant to do. I'm looking for Monkey Farmer. There you go, Monkey Farmer. We're gonna try to get some money. I just realized I haven't done any of that yet. Okay, so yeah, basically you want to make sure that no matter what, you are doing the event. In normal mode, at the beginning of the game, if you're only doing it 1 magnifying glass at a time, it is difficult, but it is still doable if you are doing, so the event currently for this one is 2 weeks long. You would need to complete 35 levels, so that is a little over 2 levels a day. That's not that, wait, 2 levels? Okay, quite a bit over 2 levels. If you want to be safe, aim for 3 levels a day, maybe 4, which although not easy because the events are spread out every 4 hours you can do the stage, it's not that hard to do it 3 or 4 times a day. You do it when you wake up, you do it before you go to bed, and you do it once or twice in the middle, something like that. Obviously, some people aren't up for the time commitment, so a lot of people, like me, potentially, will use the treasure chest key method, where if you have treasure chest keys, obviously this is for later game players, you basically just, well, you get the upgrades you need. As soon as you have treasure chest keys, you just go through each stage, make sure you're using them, collect as many gems as possible, and with those gems, you use them to skip the time in between events. Originally, I actually watched ads. It is an option, especially if you're on mobile. I think still if you're on PC, you can just watch ads to progress by 15 minutes, which isn't that long, and I wouldn't recommend, and it won't let you watch 16 ads to skip the full thing. But if you are a little tight on time, you're late, you're like, oh, well, I still really want to do this. I still really want to do this 3 or 4 times. You can still do it. You don't need to be perfect. You will still be able to get access to it, even if you miss once or whatever. You can just, did I do that? Sure, I'll take straight path. That's not bad. It's pretty good for this map. But yeah, if you miss one, you can watch an ad or spend some gems to skip it. If you're early game, if you are on like normal or hard difficulty, I wouldn't recommend using gems. Watching ads, it's your choice, but gems are not worth it unless you are a later game player, because, well, if you're, basically, if the event will give you something that, if anything from the event except epic wish orb and legendary wish orb stuff, or stuff that will get you those, so like shards and gems, anything besides that's worth it to you, then it's not worth using gems, because gems are a really valuable resource early game, and even still late game, so I don't really recommend using them unless you are using treasure chest keys to farm as well. But if you are, then obviously, they make for a good option. Treasure chest keys will be super helpful, they just get you a little extra gems. But yeah, so I definitely recommend it at normal mode. Just do normal difficulty if you can. Some maps will not be doable. They will reset every 4 hours, but the one thing I do remember correctly is you actually have to play them. You have to at least try the map, or the map won't reset. I believe that is how it works. But the map does reset. I'm not entirely sure if it's that it won't reset exactly after 4 hours, it'll wait 8 or something, or if it does just require you to try it, but it does reset the map. So if you're stuck, you're like, oh, I'm really early game, I can't even beat all the maps on normal mode, which is true in some cases. Cursed Mirrors is a really hard map, for example. You won't always be able to beat it on normal difficulty. So if you can't, then wait, maybe try the map just to be sure, because it is a waste if you can't. or if you thought you couldn't, but you actually can. But in reality, just make sure you're doing as much as you can. Okay, so I think those are the upgrades I'm going to get for Flame Princess. I am going to go for Fire Trap, though. But yeah, try your best. The one thing I will say that did actually happen for me is you can get some really good gear early on. This isn't as good. The other event is random lottery for everything except the Legendary Wish Orb. It just fills in a slot each time when there's a tape event or something like that. Those are better because you can straight up get a super rare or even an epic item the second you start the event. Even if you just play 1 or 2 normal games, you end up with an epic item and it carries you through the rest. It's not as extreme in this event because they're ordered rewards, but we will see the first reward here. I remember correctly, it's usually a lot of shards or something like that, which will be super helpful towards getting your first super rare or epic wish orb, and in general, just really helpful towards getting future gear. Do I want Flame Princess this far ahead? Sure. But yeah, in general, it's just super useful towards getting future gear and getting a head start in the game. Try to rush hard mode is the one thing I will say. If you're on normal mode, if you can beat hard mode, at least in this event, you are doubling your rewards. Your time will become twice as valuable. That's a really big deal. Your time being twice as valuable is a big deal, and switching from normal mode to hard mode is not that difficult. The main jump you have to be able to do is money making. That's the one tip I'll give. Brofist is so necessary. When I started doing the game, trying to get to hard mode, from normal to hard mode, that jump, it's important, but if you rely on your Brofist money making and any other things you have, make sure to equip as many trinkets as possible. Try to focus on damage. You can do it really well. A lot of allies are cost efficient in that area because they don't require as many good trinkets to become more cost effective like characters do. So it's really good. Try to rely on a bit of allies in that stage. Make it to hard difficulty as soon as you can with Brofist and money making. It's really important, but it will double your rewards in this event, and that's a big deal. Okay, so that sort of covers those 2 stages. Hard to extreme. That's a different stage. Hard to extreme is a much larger jump and not an easy one to make. It will either come, in most cases, it'll come from one really good super rare or epic trinket. Perhaps the Phoenix Wand weapon, the super rare weapon Phoenix Wand, will easily carry you through extreme mode. I was lucky enough to have that. I got the Wand of Disenchantment, which helped me make sure I secure my victory in extreme, because ZMGs were often the part that killed me at the end, especially if there was a fortified one. But each step is helpful. Getting those epic and super rare wish orbs, getting your money making. At that stage, you should be able to start getting some Cobras, or at the very least, some Beamos to try to make some extra money. Going from hard to extreme, money making becomes even more important, and you really, really need to focus on, you really need to focus on making sure you can afford the important and powerful upgrades you need, and focus on your Moab damage. That's a big deal going from hard to extreme. Speaking of which, for going back to, for a little while, to normal to hard difficulty, having the paper mask for +1 damage to Moabs is really helpful. There are a lot of common and uncommon trinkets like James's Lucky Coin that you don't really think about, but actually do increase your damage a fair amount and can be super useful when you don't really have much damage or attack speed or trinkets. They're really helpful. Okay, back to hard to extreme for a little while. Obviously, it's not that simple. It's a much harder jump. You really just need stronger characters and to keep grinding out trinkets and weapons, but it is a big deal. It's not as necessary as well, as the increase from normal to hard mode isn't as big as hard to extreme, because it's the same amount increase, which becomes less of a percentage increase overall. Obviously, 1 to 2 is doubling, but 2 to 3 is only increasing by 50%, so that's a big deal. It's not as mandatory. It's a much harder jump to make. Do not panic if you're stuck on hard mode for this entire event. It's easily doable. Like I did my comparison with normal mode, with hard mode, if you're running 2 at a time, you only need to do this event you only need to do this event 17 times, which is a lot, but if you have 14 days, that's only a little over 1 a day. So if you can do 2 a day, you'll have this event done, well, way faster. You'll have this event done in less than 9 days if you're able to do 2 a day, which, like I said, is pretty easy to do. You only have to do them 4 hours apart, so that's not that bad. You could easily do 3 and have the event done earlier and not have to worry about it or worry about forgetting. So that is important. It's easy to forget about an event like this, so that's a big deal. Finally, because I feel like that sort of went over that stuff, also at that stage of the game is sort of when you focus more on, okay, have my DPS heroes like Psy, Super Monkey, Max, Commander Cassie, make them powerful. C4 Charlie for his Mob Assassin, really good early game bad balloon damage if you can get him to level 7. Super Monkey Sun God, they require level 7 skills, but they make a big difference. If you get unlucky and you're like, oh, well, that sucks, my only level 7 hero is... I actually can't really think of a bad level 7 hero item. Marceline, that's going to be the first one I think of. If you have Marceline level 7, that sucks. But having a level 7 upgrade, if it's for someone like Sai, Commander Cassie, Super Monkey, C4 Charlie, PB, all of those characters benefit so much from the level 7 abilities. It's a big deal, and they do really help against bad balloons in particular. But yeah, so that's it. Extreme to Impossible. You just really need to focus on those level 7 upgrades. If you don't have them yet, quests are a really big deal. You should be able to have quite a few quest slots unlocked by that point. They will help you progress from mid to late game to end game and help you succeed and keep the jump from extreme to impossible. Quests are a big deal then. People always ask, character items, how do you get them? All that stuff. Quests, they're super duper useful. I actually just made some more at the end of today. Are we okay? This bad balloon is not dying. I know it's fortified and all, but this is not going that well. Marston has full, my brains were okay. Fortified bad balloon, I was saying, oh, easy map. Do not underestimate fortified bads. They are not easy. No matter how easy the map is, they will not be easy to beat. They will still be difficult, no matter what. But yeah, so extreme to impossible, you really just need those level 7 abilities and level 7 characters. Make sure you have some characters specifically meant for damage and so on such. And yeah, try your best. Watch out for fortified. If it's a fortified map, lower your difficulty. If you can beat most impossible and it's a fortified, do extreme. If you can beat most extreme but it's fortified, do hard. If you're just able to beat hard difficulty, but it's fortified, which is pretty rare in that case, do normal. A fortified Moab, BFB, ZMG, Bad Balloon, whichever one it is for your difficulty, are deadly. Super duper deadly. Do not underestimate them. They will not be easy. Okay, so let's take a look at this reward. Because yeah, so that's sort of all of the difficulty tiers. All of these stages of the game. Let me know, by the way, if you actually want to see a detailed video, in my opinion, of what stage of the game you're at for this. So like beginner, intermediate, medium, mid-game, late game, and end game, and all of those various stages. Let me know if you're interested in that, because that could be a cool one to make. As you can see here, this is a little bit of a benefit of Thought Cannon Wand. You see, although the top one's rare, I have 20 wish orbs. So normally, my recommendation is, obviously, if you open them, it's better, because you have a chance of getting the next tier. I'm lazy, and I don't need shards very much, so I'm just doing this, but opening wish orbs, it's a big deal early game, like, as soon as you get your Thought Cannon Wand. Personally, I don't really open anything, usually, unless it's a rare at least. This time, I've become a little more picky, and I'm going for super rare above. Okay, so this is the first item. Oh, this is the second item, Issue of Blah. This isn't that good. And the first one, well, okay, so the first one's interesting. The first one is an epic power. I don't really talk about powers much, because I don't use them much, but they can easily be used to skip a difficulty tier if it's necessary. So the Adventure Crest chests, if you're playing on maps to try to get the Adventure Crest chests, and you're like, okay, I can meet 3 of them, or 2, or like all but 1 on Extreme, or all but 1 on Impossible, using a power-up to beat the final map on that difficulty is definitely worth it. It makes a big difference, but power-ups, most of them aren't that strong. If you want to see my honestly very failed attempt at a power-ups video, make sure to take a look at it. It really does give some insight on, wait a sec, most powers aren't that good. Honestly, in my conclusion, only one power-up is really worth it, and that is the Nightosphere Amulet. Don't buy power-ups. I wasted 50,000 coins on them. I couldn't beat normal mode. It was, what, normal? I think I actually died on hard mode. It was not fun. But check out the video, it's interesting. But yeah, so make sure to check out the event. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful going into the difficulty tiers and tips for moving to the next stage. Make sure to play this event, don't miss out on your chance for the legendary Wish Orb, and yeah, hope you all enjoyed this video. So please consider giving the video a like if you did, and subscribe to join the Purple Elephant Squad. It makes my day, it's super nice, and I really do appreciate it. We're over 1,100 subs, which is awesome. Keeping on our way strong to 2,000. Let's keep it up. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye!